Hey, Doug Upstone here for Doc Sports, and I am back in Peoria, Arizona to take a look at the Los Angeles Angels and the San Diego Padres. So we're getting ready for that. You can see in the background we got some San Diego players just showed up, and I think further back you can maybe see some Angels players back there then too in the red uniform. So it should be a fun day at the old ballpark. So let's first talk about the Los Angeles Angels. Their win total is 83.5. They're picked to finish second in the AL West and seventh in the American League. Now, what's the best way to describe this roster? Well, that's an interesting question, right? But I think I have the answer. I think the answer is that the Halos are a house of cards. Now, when you look at this team, you have Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Anthony Rendon. Plus, you can also mix in the production of Jared Walsh, especially based off of last year, and also Joe Adele, who might be somebody that's really ready to break loose, and this team can score a lot of runs. So that all looks really good when you put that. But when you look at the foundation of this team, that's where the problem comes into play. They don't have enough pitching. And so with this, it's kind of like the state of California. If one of those plates goes, the whole thing can come tumbling down in no time at all. Now, outside of Ohtani as their starter, from that standpoint, I'm not really sure that this team has enough pitching, especially when you look at Noah Syndergaard, I think 2 years ago is the last time he pitched. Patrick Sandoval's okay. Jose Suarez is okay. I think he's pitching today, by the way. And Mike Lorenzen. But is that really that good of a starting rotation? I don't think so. The bullpen has a few familiar names, but as opposed to opposing batters really going to be all that concerned with them, I don't think so. Okay, the total on this one is 83.5 for the Angels. I think it's doable. Okay, but are they a playoff team? I don't think that's the case at all, unless they get some more starter help and more bullpen help, and the rest of the team stays healthy, especially Trout after this past year. So I'm going to say the best thing to do on this for a season win total is to pass when you're talking about the Angels. Now, last year in baseball, I was the number one guy at Doc Sports when it came to winning percentage. Okay, I was 177 and 138, and with a profit of $9,425. Like I say, number one at Doc's last year, and that was the third time in the last 7 years that I have had one of my best 3 seasons in baseball. So from that standpoint, I'm really looking forward to another big year. So you can sign up for a weekly, monthly, or season package of mine at the Doug Upstone page at Doc Sports to get things going. All right, now let's talk about the San Diego Padres. San Diego's win total is 88.5. They're picked to finish second in the NL West, and they're fifth in the National League in terms of teams that could win it. Now, at the end of April last year, the Padres were the toast of baseball. Everybody thought they were going to be a contender to really run with the Dodgers all season long. Well, guess what happened? They closed the season 12-34. They didn't even finish 500. By the way, sorry about them talking right now, but nothing I can do about that. But, so with that in mind, what does the new season hold? Okay, the season has gotten off to a rough start already with Fernando Tatis out with a broken wrist until June. Now, that to me leaves a possibility of some poor situations for them to score runs. Now, if he's not back until June, Manny Machado, okay, if he cools off like he did at different points, I just don't see where this team's going to score a lot of runs consistently. And that's what happened last year's team, is that they were able to score. When everything was hitting well, everything was great. But when they cooled off, they really cooled off. So that's a big problem for this team unless somebody else steps up. Now, Luke Voigt, I think, gives an opportunity as a DH and maybe some first base, especially because Eric Hosmer has really dropped off both on the field and at the plate. Now, the other thing that I look at with this team is their starting pitching. Now, I think it's imperative that Yu Darvish and Blake Snell start throwing again with confidence, because that's the one thing that these pitchers seem to vary on, is that they kind of they run hot and cold in terms of that. So if they get their confidence going again, I think there'd be a good chance that this team could rebound. The bullpen has some holes, but what bullpen doesn't to start the season? So from that standpoint, I think there's some things to look at. I'd say that the Padres have a chance to go over their total because I'm not convinced that the Giants, being an older team and having everything possible go their way last year, will repeat. And we know the Rockies and the D-backs are awful. From that standpoint, though, I wouldn't want to bet on it with my money. So I'm going to recommend pass on that one with just the slightest of leans on the over if everything works out for them. So this is Doug Upstone for Doc Sports, ready to enjoy another great day here in Peoria, Arizona, watching the Angels and the Padres today. We'll be back next week with some more over-under totals and then along with some previews of some other teams. Until then, I'm out.